want to explore for our practice today a theme around doubt. I was going to say, are you doubting anything right now in your life? So doubt or uncertainty, or even there's a twinge of fear here, but more so doubt and uncertainty. And the reason why I want to share this is there's always this aspect in my life where I feel this doubt, specifically around where I should be spending my time or who I should be trying to help. It shows up for me. I do some work in schools, and sometimes I don't feel as alive or connected doing that work as I do in some of the other work that I do. And so I have this doubt of like, should I be spending time here? And so often when we have doubt in some ways, we think, well, what's the antidote? Belief, right? We want to believe in something. We want to believe that we are on the right path. We want to believe that things are working out for us. And what I want to offer tonight is that belief and doubt are both thoughts. They're both of the mind. And that actually what we're really seeking is something that's deeper than believing or doubting. And what that is a knowing. Because a knowing is an embodied sense of understanding. Like the example is, how do you know how to ride a bike? It's hard to even put into words, right? You don't have to believe that you can ride a bike, you just know. There's just something in your body that knows, I can do this. And which is kind of the beauty of the Buddha when he talked about the practice of meditation, is that he wasn't trying to tell people to believe in the things he was saying. He was saying, hey, come experience this for yourself. You'll know once you have that experience. And so the way for us to come into a sense of deeper knowing is what I'm going to offer is actually through a resourceful not knowing, of actually being okay with the question, being okay not having to have it figured out. Because that's where really we open up to a space of curiosity, of wonder, and of humility. And humility in the definition of we don't know, we don't have all the answers. And that's really where wisdom can then seep in. Because wisdom is learning what we didn't know that we didn't know. And it's where our blind spots are. And so living into the questions of the doubt. And so if you just think about what are those questions that are showing up for you in your life, right? What should I do? Is this the right thing? However that might manifest. I want to offer a poem by Rilke, one of my favorite poems. And he says, be patient toward all that is unsolved in your heart, and try to love the questions themselves, like locked rooms and like books that are now written in a very foreign tongue. Do not seek the answers which cannot be given you, because you would not be able to live them. And the point is to live everything, to live the questions now. Perhaps you will then gradually, without noticing it, live into some distant day into the answer. And I think this invites us into, we have to experience our lives to know the answer. So can we be comfortable not knowing? Can we be curious? And to bring this back around, really, if I were to give what is the antidote to doubt, it's not belief, it's actually a faith in the unknown, a faith in the benevolence, and that might come down to a belief, I understand that, but a faith if there is a deeper knowing that there's a source, right, a spirit that we've come from that is looking out for us, and if we can trust and we can take the next step forward, then we can start to learn what are those answers for our life through what life reflects back to us. And so, how do we walk in faith is one, I think meditation helps us to connect with ourselves in that way, so we can start to get clear on, okay, discerning what is that step for me. We're going to do that in our practice today. But I also want to offer this concept of the three transcendentals that the ancients talked about, which is goodness, truth, and beauty. And when we are accessing either of those three, and they're different, because something that's beautiful might not always be true, something that's good might not always be beautiful, but if we're accessing one of those three, we're connected to a state of presence. When we're connected to what is good, when we're connected to what is true, when we're connected to what is beauty, it opens ourselves. And if we can stay more access to that state of presence, life starts to flow, answers start to show themselves. So that's what we're going to practice a little bit in this meditation. You don't have to answer, but I do want to just open some space if you want to share, like, what is, after me talking about this, what's coming up for you, or what are some, what are the things that you're doubting. Definitely don't have to share. We can go right into the practice, but just, yeah, I'm curious if it calls to you to speak out kind of what's showing up for you as I share in this topic. Yeah.
I don't know, it's a slight doubt. There's definitely a knowing and a faith, but having two teenage girls, myself, and the stage that they're in, most of the time it's faith, but when doubt in the form of, am I doing everything that I possibly could, for their well-being, and the relationship with what's the stage that they're in, where I can plug in, where I don't need to plug in. There's sometimes doubt in trusting and not just jumping into things in terms of what we typically see, how things are done, but the relationship that I have with them, the dynamics that they have navigated since I was divorced. And so that right now is definitely something that pops up, and any little sliver of doubt of, am I doing everything that I can for them to navigate where they're at.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing that. I'm curious, as we do this practice, as you work with the narrative of that, right? Am I doing whatever I can, right? I'm curious, how that, what opens up as we do this. So thanks for sharing. Yeah.
Well, for me, it's something that I'm working on, actually. It's funny that you are mentioning it tonight, but for me, it's one of the top things that are on my mind, that I'm like kind of working on consciously or unconsciously. Basically, I doubt my decisions sometimes. Like, I go confident, I trust my intuition, I do or I say something that I believe in, and then I go back and I start questioning, like, oh, did I do the right thing? Maybe I shouldn't have, but now I don't know how this relationship is my decision is gonna, affect the relationship with the person, for example, how they're gonna look at me, and especially lately, I feel like I'm more coming back to myself, and I say my truth, and not everybody is very accepting to like what they hear. And for me, I'm like, okay, so do I follow my intuition? Do I actually say it, or do I keep quiet and just conform to like, how people perceive me, how I need to be, how like I'm expected to behave, like, so I have like a bit of a conflict. So that's one thing. And another thing is that releasing the outcome too, like there's something that I'm going through, and the universe more and trust, have faith, because I need to release control and stop doubting that, you know, everything will be okay and everything will work out somehow. So it's like, there's a, a lot of,
Yeah.
and I think I'm getting better at it, but it's, doubt is a big thing, like, am I good enough? Am I, even like with my accent, like, people first think, okay, oh, yeah, first question is like, oh, where are you from? So it's like, I've been living here for 30 years. And the second question is, oh, so, and how do you like it here? I'm like, I don't even remember. Like, I came here in 1994. So it's like always like being self-conscious, right? Do I have a voice? Am I perceived the same as the people who live here without an accent, who were born here? Like, even this, like, things like that, like, it took me a long time to actually, like, accept that I'm somewhat different or not, or like, so this doubt. And also, like, I had a change of career, and I was in the corporate world for like a long time, and then somehow it's like providence, whatever, like, I started acting. So right now I'm in the acting world. I don't get like speaking parts. Mostly it's just, like extra work, or like features or whatever stuff. But how do I, am I good enough to actually like open my mouth and say something that people understand it? Like, like, it's like,
Yeah.
There's a lot of doubt.
Yeah.
But I'm working on it.
Yeah. I feel. Yeah. Once I started talking about it, your eyes like lit up, like, oh, doubt. Yeah. Yeah. So a lot of conflict with kind of your inner intuition, yourself, speaking up who you are, honor. Like, really what I'm hearing is like this part that's really stepping into your power, right? That wants to step into your power. And then there's the doubt of being perceived, how you're being perceived, good enough. And obviously a lot of that outside stuff is often, our inside stuff that are inviting us to like, oh, there's our work right there, right? So beautiful, lots to explore. I'm gonna dim the lights and we'll get into our practice.